welcome back to Project Tesseract. I'm NeoGetz, and today we are working on the aqueduct city that I've been trying to come up with a design for. This is just a single player test world where I was experimenting with different ways to get the water flowing and then different ideas for shaping the land as it goes away from it, and this is the idea that I sort of settled on. So you have a mixture of little grassy gardens, and you can fit on a couple of nice sized buildings. So there will be various designs when I finally get around to sorting that out, but I was really happy with the way this looked. And so the 3x3 water flow design seems to be what I will be sticking with, but we are going to go and hop onto the Tesseract server and do a proper in survival test build, and that will be made out of cobble, because that's the material I have plenty of, and this was literally just 2 blocks I chose from the menu. They are not anything to do with the actual final blocks that will be used in the real design when we reset the server. So I will see you over on the server. Okay, so we're back here, and I've only got 3 flows of water and 4 dirt blocks done at the moment, but I just want to show you what I'm doing for the water split, and then I'm going to make it all symmetrical. So the idea is that you create a little flow of water for safety. It's much easier than building scaffolding for everything you want to do. And then to split the water you need 4 blocks, whereas just to continue it on downwards I only normally make, oops, forgot to place that block. I only normally make just the 2 at the start, because these 2 blocks would then get destroyed. So once we've done that, we just have to take back the water and start destroying the blocks that aren't needed, and then ensuring that these will go back in a second. I'm just destroying them for the count, but this is block 1, so then we need to go out 7 and do that in all 3 directions and add the handrails. There we go. So let's just put that one back on actually. And then this tower over here will have someone on top of it. I'm attempting to do a time lapse, but I was having issues with trying to hide the interface. It's not going very well. I found a mod that would do it brilliantly, but then realised that up to date for the mod was 1.6.1, and unfortunately the server's on 1.6.2, so I can't actually have that working. But fingers crossed it will be okay just with the interface shrunk down, which I've got all set up. I just have to actually get on with it. Sorry, it's very hard to count and commentate. Let me just double check this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, that should be right. The idea is that everything is built in advance, so that once the water comes down it can just flow happily. There we go. Now normally I have the railing one back, oops, sorry, once I've got the water flowing, so I'm probably going to still do that, because here you see the railing, as soon as that's lowered everything's lowered. But I don't know, I'll see how it all looks with different things. So step 1 is to get it flowing straight. There we go. And then step 2 is to start destroying everything else. Oh, I forgot that railing. Bummer. There's always something that you forget when you're working on this. Luckily though, I've managed not to fall off yet, but now I do have to re-jig this flow. So let's get that one going. There we go. And then when I destroy that one, that should even out all the flows at some point. Oh, that one's flowing off the edge, which it shouldn't do. I think it was thinking itself higher than it was. There we go. So yeah, this is the idea. Everything now is flowing quite nicely up to the edges, and then it will continue on for another 3. So I'm going to repeat that on all 4 sides, but fingers crossed it will all be time-lapsed there. If not, then there will be a jump cut, and I will see you once I've got all of these made and meeting up. So hopefully I'll see you after you've watched the time-lapse, and if not, I'll see you in just a second. as you can see, we've sort of got an idea of what's happening here now. This is what I think one of the plazas might actually look like. Actually, let's just get the game moving so I can actually just wiggle the camera slightly for you. So yeah, we've got one of the plazas with steep steps then leading down to the corner. I decided to take the space of the middle for both ends of the stairs on the grass in order to maximize the amount of space in each section. So at the edges it goes 4 wide, 5 wide, 5 wide, as opposed to 4, 6, 4, which it would have been if I'd recessed the blocks inwards like I'd been thinking. So I need to just fill in the others so that this will then be symmetrical, and then expand it out one more so we have a better idea of how these are all going to look, as this end here is going to start getting remarkably lower than this one, or at least it's a possibility. I really need to look into that. I'm hoping it actually just is like this again and again and again, but things always seem to go wrong in practice. So I'll probably have another time-lapse section if this one has worked in order to build all of that, if it doesn't get too long. If it is too long, I'll just have a jump cut or something to the next section, as that is a lot bigger. So I will see you then. Okay, so there we have it. We've extended out the next quadrant of the design. I also accidentally knocked down some of this. Well, I'd accidentally washed out the torch, tried to sort of sort that out, failed miserably, but that was the central one that I showed you. This one has the exact same pattern of the stone as you can see on the stairs there, and the dirt. Unfortunately the platform got a little bit too close, so you couldn't see it, but actually everything does just exactly as with this one meet up in all three of the other quadrants. Therefore, not a problem for each possible expansion that this will have. This should ring true. It all flows beautifully when it happens. I did have an accident, fell off in the middle of the night at one point. I don't know how I survived other than my armour. I was getting hit by so many skeleton arrows. I can only assume the low power rapid shot that they do when you're near them is what kept me alive, as I was on half a heart for some of that. But I don't think you'd have seen it necessarily because of the filled in area there, because a lot of the trouble was unfortunately near the ladder. But that's that done now. The experiment seems to have worked beautifully, and I can't wait to actually build the full thing on the new server when we get it. So yes, each one of these can hold 2 houses or 1 large building, couple of shops, probably actually more than 2 shops. Shops don't necessarily have to be very big, as well as I'm hoping the odd sort of plaza like this one, so that it can all look a bit varied. It's not going to just be sort of one huge section of exactly the same thing repeated out, but it's going to require an awful lot of materials. This, just what I've done here, has been, I'd say, about a chest and a half of materials I've thrown into this. There'd be a bit less if I was actually retrieving the blocks that I kept sending off down the water flows, but couldn't be bothered to actually chase them. There'll be a few down there still before the time runs out, but I'm really happy with how this has gone. So yes, we've got the inverted town over there, which will be done on the slow gradient that unfortunately you can't see because it's in this corner over here, but that will hopefully be dug out first. I'm looking for a plains biome in which to build that, not the extreme hills, preferably, because that would be a nightmare to build on. Great for the village, terrible for a pyramid. So I'm looking for a plains area that I can mess with, and then, as I say, this can go sort of wherever. I will do the numbers to actually find out what kind of elevation I'm working with the final design, and probably a rough idea of how many blocks we're talking about. But yes, that then will hopefully provide all the material for this, which should save a lot of the trouble, much like it has here. So fingers crossed, and now all I have to do is get this little guy back to his home. And thank you very much to Cascade for letting me borrow him. It's been very helpful, and it's just a shame that the mod that I'd found to hide the inventory stopped working between 6.1 and 6.2. It's the only one I'd found that actually did that, to hide the bar at the bottom while not having this as the focus. But if in doubt, next time I'll try and borrow a friend's computer or something to do something similar, but I don't know what the next project that I time-lapse will be, although I was thinking of time-lapsing the building of the pyramid when we get the new server, but I've got some time to work out the technical hitches with that. So I will see you soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.